Hi, hello there.
Hi, hello there.
I'm Stephen,
I'm Jeffrey,
and this is How Did You Get There?
a show where we like to talk about thoughts, ideas, opinions, and beliefs, so we can be critical of those things and
Not necessarily critical of the people themselves.
today might be an exception. We might want to be critical of an individual.
Indeed.
And
These
they're
things
not even
happen.
here to defend themselves. So
Which may seem a little unfair, but life's not fair. I taught my kids that from a real early age.
of the fairnesses in life.
Yeah, so just a reminder, these opinions are not Jess's
No.
necessarily, nor any of Jess FM or anybody else associated with the Jess collective of everythings.
Ooh, yeah.
Not even necessarily our opinions, but if you have to pin it on someone, you may as well pin it on us because we're the ones who are saying it.
As proof in the pudding, you can get a hold of me on my personal Facebook page. If you do not wish to get so engaged, at HTYTGYQL, you could follow us.
If
And
that's
then-
hard to remember, that's the first letters of How Did You Get There? And then our international airport code, YQL.
Or why cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeekle!
Yickle. Yickle. So, if I get some followers, you get more craziness just like this. Just like this.
I made a piece of art today.
Did you?
In preparation for this, and then realized I probably didn't really want to post it. I sent it to you by your emails. You haven't seen it yet, but what it is, it's a beautiful silhouette. I did tweet out thanks to the person who provided the silhouette for free from the internets, because it said, hey, to pay this person, celebrate their art by tweeting out that thing. So I did that, and then I realized I probably did not want to conflate the art with the thing that I just made. So it's for us to giggle about. It's a beautiful silhouette of a man holding a small child. You can kind of suggest that it's a man and his son just by the stereotypical body types
Very
envisioned. But it's a silhouette, so the text that I've added makes it really clear. Over on the right side, sorry, on the right side is where the people are.
Oh, you're doing it for the... Yeah.
Yeah, for some reasons, yeah,
Command-
audience right.
Command right. Yeah.
So on the one side, it's the dad and kid, and on the other side, I sketched a really terrible tree, and slapped the pennant of the self-styled Queen of Canada on there. And the boy is saying, "What's that, Dad?" And the dad is saying, "Tree, son."
Nice. And that's sort of where we're headed with today. So, when I look at certain parts of history, there are political wings that seem active, like, I don't want to demonetize Jess right away by dropping the H-bomb, but some of these groups have radicalized entities that exist within. For example, in Canada, we have a group called the Canada First Party. And some of their more outspoken members seem to be more radicalized in their beliefs. And by that I just mean are unwilling to receive new inputs of information and change their minds.
Yeah. So I think the person you are circumlocuting quite wisely. I was reading up about this person and their decision to enter politics, and from the Canada First Party of Canada.ca website, on the decision to enter politics, lorem ipsum dolor sit amet, son sectitur ad discipline elit sed diem nonumi nib es us mod. I think that's just placeholder text.
I think it might be.
I think they just got past the first several paragraphs and went, I can't be bothered enough about this to fill out my own website.
No, yeah. It's like a CV that reads just the left half.
Yeah.
Unironically, I picked the left half.
Right.
No, left.
Left.
So this
See, duh, we.
So this hinges a lot on I think what we agree are responsibilities as they pertain to our rights
Hmm.
and the freedom of expression.
Can't yell theater at a crowded fire.
Correct. Correct. And I think some of what this person is inciting, for like the actual word that seems to be going on, is violence. A call to arms, a call to murder.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, right straight up, please kill these people, I believe was
Round them up and kill them. Then she rolled back. She said, hold them up into big groups so that they can then be tried and then put in front of a firing squad or hung.
Probably should have said hanged, but
Yeah, she might have.
she might not. I've read a lot of the writing, and the style is inconsistent at best.
Yes, yes. There. I did watch one of the little videos about imploring printers and textilists to use only premium quality when reproducing the flag of the Kingdom of Canada.
Fun fact, we're not a kingdom, but it doesn't mean that we couldn't have been.
That's also true.
Sir John A. Macdonald, about whom we don't talk a lot now because of the terrible side of what he did. Sure, history. Pay attention to history.
This isn't even the first instance of the Canada First Party, by the way.
Yeah, no.
Unoriginal twats. Oh. Sorry, John A. Macdonald.
John A. Macdonald, speaking of, actually wrote an essay back in the day about how it should be the Kingdom of Canada. But the England at the time was wary of pissing off the Republican, small r Republican, government to the south, and elected to make it a dominion instead. So it was at the time, politically incorrect to have yet another monarchy just like spring up on your doorstep. So we're not a kingdom.
No.
You can say we are, but that doesn't make it true. I could say that I am an elephant with pink wings. It does not necessarily make it true. It might be true, but chances are pretty slim.
As you picked this as the example I suggested is not true.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've looked.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, not an elephant.
Although, never mind.
How do you breathe through that thing?
Yes, right. Exactly. Keep stuffing peanuts up my bum. Yeah, right.
So apparently there is a Kingdom of Canada. It's just not,
It's not recognized by anybody.
or it's proportionally by no one.
Ah, very good. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I meant
Much like
I guess.
the universe is basically empty, right? As a proportion of there's a finite number of planets with people,
Yeah.
and there's an infinite number of planets, to the best of our knowledge, or at least a largely uncountable number.
That's a really good way to put it.
And if you take a very large uncountable number, any number divided by a very large uncountable number, it's as close to zero as makes no never minds.
Typically.
Thank you for pointing that out, Douglas Adams.
Yep. If you have something so big and you divide it by something even bigger, it's still nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I use that in computer science a lot. We do it for other purposes.
Well, you
but
guys
do
love
it
the ballpark math. You guys love core math.
We do it, and we do that sort of thing in the inverse to just sort of demonstrate how terrible, really bad program design can be.
Oof. Yeah.
Right?
Yes. So, like, the elegance of the design would be the simplicity with which it operates.
Right. So if you want to make something really complicated, it's probably not going to work quite as well. I mean, it might.
It might.
It might be necessary to have all that complexity, but quite often I find that needless complexity just makes it terrible. So we could make a conspiracy that requires international cooperation of a bunch of different people at a bunch of different levels of government to try and do a whole bunch of things to suppress us.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And then also not tell us that they're doing it.
which is easily done by and large in the
Have you ever
mostly
tried to host?
democratic planet we live on? Like,
Have you ever tried to host
60%.
a surprise party for someone?
yeah, no,
Yeah, and that's not even
I tried
every
to
government
sneak
in
into
the
Scotland on you. That is harder than you would think because they want to know where you're going before you even get off the plane. Man.
right.
So I had to work around sister-in-law. But yeah, so I mean, if we can't even camouflage a surprise one guest visitor, where like no one, well, I would like to think no one was tracking me, but I definitely hit every security check, everyone. But they weren't really following me, right?
No.
They weren't like, ooh, that guy, he's clearly going to visit his brother. They're in cahoots. They're going to take over.
No, cahoots was we were actually in
south of
Edinburgh.
Cahoots, yeah. Tim Cahoots. He eats potato chips with a knife and fork.
Right. Forgot about that guy.
Yeah. The guy from Coots, named Coots.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he was from like
Great Falls. Or
Great
something.
Falls.
He
Yeah,
was,
yeah. Like a for real community.
Yeah.
Well, okay. A place you might find a full size store.
So, and for those of you paying attention, we made it 11 and a half minutes.
Not bad. Not bad. I was actually going to start this show by saying there's lots of ways we could go off the rails today. So perhaps limit yourself to half sips on the derails today.
It's more like bumper cars.
True.
Like-
We are colliding around within the topic. This is more
The rails are
the
really
billiards of
way
our
out.
pool
It's-
game.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
The more banks we get, the more successful we are.
Right. So in preparation for today, I declined to sign up for Telegram.
Same here. Yeah.
I
thought about it hard though because know thy enemy. I'm not convinced they're my absolute enemy. I'm not a foe of theirs. I'm just a foe of their misinformation.
yeah, and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I may actually still sign up. I still have a MySpace account.
True. Oh yeah, that's the see. So this is where my Twitter handle is not me, so that it gives me. I mean, like I don't hide that it's me, but they actually have to work at it to figure out it's me. If I tweet something redonkulous, like I tweeted the QAnon today, and I bet you at least one of them will be like, "What are they saying about us?" And we might actually get one extra viewer today. As
Hooray!
a result, right?
More viewers.
I don't think I'll get more Twitter followers after today. At least not from that crowd.
Oof.
Hope
Well, maybe.
Hope not. Yeah, maybe they want to keep track of me. Cool.
We'll go back to the previous episode about how to build a conspiracy.
Yeah, I could look up when that was, but
That's okay.
all right.
My wife is still threatening to disown me.
What, on how to build a conspiracy?
Yeah, she said that would be an irresponsible use of my right to free speech. I think she's right.
Yeah, yeah. That's right. I'm still slowly building the case that I can justify killing off 10% of the population. We have to definitely put that in a make-believe world where I can verify my results are accurate prior to the experimentation, but just a thing.
You're the person that research ethics boards are for.
Yes. We'll get into the Tuskegee thing and how that's what the research ethics board is for. Because you would have taken the Tuskegee experiment, looked at it and said, no, this is just stress testing black people. It's not actually coming up with results other than that. So then you would have said no to that before it became out. However, people...
Before it went in, before they even started.
Right, but people now looking back consider that socially constructed science, whereas the research ethics board would have deemed that not science.
Well, no, they wouldn't have said it wasn't science.
No, you would have. You would have seen the experiment and called it out for being not scientific.
Yeah, that's not our role.
Wouldn't that be a good place to stop them, though?
Oh, it'd be an awesome place to stop. There's lots of there may have been some great scientific things there. There weren't.
No.
But maybe there
Like,
were.
clearly no.
But maybe there were.
Yeah.
But were they abusing people?
Mm-hmm.
And I use that in a very broad sense.
Oh, yeah.
Right. You can't just go, I wonder what happens if this.
Yeah,
without
no, but
considering
they clearly did.
who's
and
it happening to.
They wanted to compare it to the retroactive studies that had already taken place on white people, but they weren't going to do new experiments on white people because they knew that was horrible,
Right, and that's where we go. This is an ethics problem.
right?
Please stop.
So that's where it matters.
Right. So
So in the same case, right?
Yeah.
That someone is presenting their case for evaluation of an ethical code of conduct to move your society forward. So a societal ethics board is what I'm convening right now.
cool. Seems like a great idea, actually.
Right. If you say something, if I'm a doctor and I do harm, that goes against the code of conduct for doctors. Like if my intent is to do harm by deceit, especially.
Yeah.
Like, come in, I'll fix your broken arm. And by cutting off your head, your broken arm doesn't bug you anymore. A thing like that.
Yeah,
right?
that's generally bad.
Generally bad.
We'll say.
It is not conducive to the well-being to be decapitated typically.
True.
So the same would be of a society where if someone claims to be wanting to build a stronger society, we would love to look at how they would treat the parts of the society they disagree with. That's how I would evaluate a situation like that. Like, clearly, I disagree with many parts of my society, even when they have ideas I agree with.
Oh yeah.
For example, I do think Canada should own much of its natural resource and stop selling it to other places. Or at least stop wholesaling it to other places.
Yep.
But that is a nationalist idea, as it were. Does that make me a Nazi? That's for you to figure out, but I don't think it
Well,
makes
I
me
can't
a
see it, so
Yeah,
I not see it.
Yeah. But I also believe in levels of nationalism, levels of socialism. Ooh. So somebody made that a dirty word, right? But it's still a good concept in my mind. There are good parts of the concept in there. Eugenics, not a good part of that concept. Another reason to have an ethics board in your research. Eugenics. Do we disregard all that research? No, we don't. Because there was some useful results that... we'll get into the replication crisis, too, that I learned about.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. The replication crisis is that because of the other parts that surround science, like the discourse and the institutions, and the need to make money from our research, we don't often fund experiments
Right, yes.
that have already been done. So that's the replication crisis. It's not that we can't, it's nobody's
don't.
funding. We don't.
Yeah, it's not sexy.
No, yeah, but like, that is the stopgap measure. That is the verification process that I feel is almost a necessity of the scientific method.
The good application of the scientific method yields replicable results.
Yes,
How do you know you can reproduce the results?
you
Try reproducing them.
Yeah, and since there's no money in it, well, I mean, I want to feed my family, so I probably should do the sciencing that gets me, paid. Unfortunately. So, someone has presented an idea where they feel the vaccines are bad, and that those that are attempting to administer the vaccine to children should be shot, or summarily rounded up, put on trial before they are shot or hanged. At least from the four news sources that corroborated the story for me.
Yeah, and I saw many of those same news sources and thought,
I had to go to 4 because one just kept quoting the first one. according to Vice. So I was like, that is not an article.
yeah, maybe need to have more than just the one, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Just
So that's
Just saying.
That's why I kept digging.
yeah.
That'll be a thing. Keep an eye on the Facebook or the Twitter or both. I'm going to put up a very well presented way of just spending an extra 2 minutes out of your day in fact checking. Just when it hits your bullshit detector, it's a helpful tool to help you figure out if it is or isn't.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I went some interesting places when I was looking for
This one
information.
caught me off guard, folks.
Yeah, so from August 26th, 2021, on a site called feelmorethanfine.eu.
Mm-hmm.
I presume it comes from the EU,
I
or at
would
least
guess.
the website is registered from that using that domain. It was a message from JFK. JFK was speaking about the self-styled Queen of Canada.
We're not saying her name on purpose.
Um,
She gets enough news.
Yeah, message from JFK. I'm still here, beautiful ones. I have not forsaken you by my silence recently. I was
Got to wash my hands.
was merely taking a break, as you say, because I felt that I had said all I could say regarding the cabal and their evil doings. This does not even sound like the JFK that I know.
Actually, it is. JFK is a. He does not like the boys' clubs. He does not like secret societies. He was against all these things. Why?
Except for the secrets he kept.
Well, that's not a societal. That's a societal secret as opposed to a secret society.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So typically, Catholics and Masons didn't get along.
Right.
Right. JFK, Catholic. Masons, secret cabal. So that's where that actually does almost sound like.
Sure.
Yeah. He was weird.
As Losha was browsing various spokespersons whom she follows, she came upon a very wonderful and tangible update from
The lady.
the lady.
The-
She is asserting that she is now the true Queen of Canada, and she calls it Canada 2.0, meaning a better version than the old. Which isn't... Again, as a guy who works in the software industry,
doesn't mean
version
better.
2.0 just means it's the next whole release version.
So really, 1.5
Is
would
it-
be like Quebec separation.
Ideally, 1.5 would be better than 1.
Mhm.
Like 1.5 is 1 plus 5 major releases of fix.
2 implies 1 was so buggered we had to start again.
Or we changed the feature set so drastically that it is not the same thing.
Gotcha. Internet 2.0.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Windows
Mm-hmm.
version 1 to Windows version 3, very many different things.
Mm-hmm.
Windows version 10 to Windows version 11, as near as I can tell, not very many new things. There are some, but I don't know if it necessarily...
It should have been like a 10.1.
Yeah. But if you don't put out a new one every couple of years, then how do you force people to upgrade eventually?
True. They are offering me iPhone 15 for my iPhone 10 as a software thing I could already be using.
Yep, I am.
I don't know if I
works
did or
fine.
not. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I don't actually care. I am not so technically encumbered.
Yeah. Claims it, so there are many discussions, says JFK, about whether or not she truly is who she says she is. However, what I would much rather focus on is that no matter who she is speaking the truth and doing things for humanity which are productive and tangible. And isn't that what we're all looking for? We are tired of hearing seemingly the same words and phrases over and over. We want action.
Clearly third-party writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure he's dead.
Well, he didn't show up at the rally
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
because he was going to come back and then become a running mate for the Donald.
Yeah. I mean, Lincoln was a Republican. Wouldn't that be a great team?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Did you know that? Oh, where's the?
You've got another,
Got another tab here.
This one was like a scary one for us, you guys, because we want to attack this subject matter to rip it wide open so that everyone can have a hard look at it. But we don't want to.
Maybe a giggle.
Yeah, like I just. So how did she get there? Like, what makes her think this? Why does she assume that she's worthy of the following? Why? Or is she just the loudest person? Is she the squeakiest wheel in the Canada First Party? I mean, I have a certain bias about BC people and their lunar-powered homes.
Well, I mean, it's really hard to get moon power, but really the light, we could actually use the light that gets reflected from the sun off the moon on to power our homes. We could do that. We could.
You can't.
Well,
You could not.
we just do not have enough.
There's not enough
Collector.
ultraviolet light
We don't have,
reflected
we
off
don't
the
have enough
moon.
collector.
True enough. And if we had enough collector, just put it in space and get rid of the atmospheric interference and have an efficient solar collector system.
Yeah. So the person we're talking about is not Voldemort.
No, but
However,
just as pretty.
Their name does actually permute to "I am your Donaldo" or "I am our Donald."
Did we just do that for fun?
Oh no, this is from a site called humorousmathematics.com.
Oh, very good.
And they also used a gematria calculator where they calculated a bunch of things about their names. All right, so
I think I am our Donald would be the one I think she would have run with if
I believe that's actually where it was
God loves you.
in both English and Ojibwe, sort of.
But what? Okay. Oh, because that is the tribe from which she exists.
Except I don't think so.
Oh.
Right. So
Oh yeah, because that's like the totally wrong coast of Indian.
yeah.
Yeah. Native person. I don't know. The government calls them Indians. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's all an act.
Very good
Wah,
one.
wah. So is it treason to just up and outright say I am the queen?
It would so not specifically treasonous. It is, however, rebelliousness.
Canada doesn't historically take kindly to rebels.
No. So this is the fun of the first version of the Canada First Party. So we might have heard of a little thing called the Riel Rebellion. Well, it's Canada First Party's fault. They stirred the pot. They got shipped back to Ontario. Riots happened. They did get a cabinet seat, but failed to elect their own member for that seat. So
Wow.
it just sat there empty. They did have a formula of we should try and break away from the Queen right away as possible. That was their thing, Canada first. Wasn't Canada until it was the province of Upper and Lower Canada.
Right.
But yeah, that's how long this idea of Canada first has been around, with pretty much the same level of respect I think it deserves now. Public ostracization, ridicule would be good.
Yeah.
And find the one thing on their platform. Like, I want to try and steel man their platform, but I couldn't. Like, I got as far
a lot
as
of it isn't
pull out of the UN.
there. Oh, right.
Like,
Are we
be a
supposed to be like
protectionist, but
United Nations?
But that's part of the globalist conspiracy, that for some reason the planet would be worse if there was actually people that knew what was going on planet-wide.
Oh.
I know, right? It seems foolish to me. The more compartmentalized our information is, the more efficient the planet would run. But so I think that the information sharing it good, the compartmentalization bad. It implies you have something to hide if you're compartmentalizing your information. For example, if we're on the big secret military project and you're doing the guidance system, do you know anything about the propulsion system other than how much thrust you're going to use in your guidance system? No. You don't know how it operates, you don't know its fuel source, you don't know any of those things. You will never know any of those things until the project's been out bombing things for a decade, and then you'll be like, oh, that's the rocket they're using.
Right.
Yes.
I approach that compartmentalization as well from a computer programming perspective. I actually just spent 2 weeks teaching about this. We build abstract data types.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And the notion is,
Math. Sorry.
yeah, well, yeah, so applied math.
Mhm.
It is computer science.
Yeah. I
So
was thinking of abstract data.
Yeah, no, it's an abstract data type.
Got it.
Data type is a thing.
Oh, data type. One word.
Abstract data type.
Got it.
The data type is abstract, not the data.
Got it. Oh, okay.
Right, so integers.
Mhm.
An integer is an abstract data type. And it's the thing itself, together with the set of all the things that thing can do.
Mm-hmm.
So we add, subtract, multiply, divide, and take the modulus and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we do this in programming by creating this convenient fiction that we have an interface that's the public side, that we tell everybody about. This is what this thing does. This is what its capabilities are, and all that sort of thing. And then we hide the mechanisms that actually do it. We don't display. Nobody cares how the sausage is made. They just care that they get a. I mean, they care.
Not a bad. I mean, you just
Right,
picked a poor example because they're like companies dedicated to explaining how they make their sausage. But you're
the general gist is
wait,
you typically don't want to find out how the sausage is made because it might put you off sausages.
True enough. True enough.
The idea is that I don't care how you get this thing done. When I say do this thing, it goes off and it might outsource it to Russia and then come back with the answer, or it might run a little program, or mice will poop on a bingo square or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have to care. I just care that I ask the thing to do the thing and it does the thing. Like, I actually mostly don't care how city operates. But man, if there's a pothole, I want a phone number that I can call, or an email address I can send to, or something, and say, hey, I've observed this thing, please fix it. And then it gets fixed, right? And it's very compartmentalized from where I'm sitting on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
And it might be super terrible siloed inside.
True.
Which is maybe wasteful and that sort of thing. But from my perspective, I don't care that it's all this like magic box of the government.
Oh yeah.
Just
Yeah,
get it
yeah,
done.
Yeah. They, them. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
It was just
They, them.
They, them. Yeah. So why did the non-binary prospector move out west in the 1800s? Heard there was gold in them there hills.
Nice. That's pretty good.
I didn't make it up.
Nope.
I found it. I laughed.
It's still good.
They, them, they. Oh, wow. So
But
we're
I mean,
halfway.
They and them is the conspiracy.
Oh, right, yeah.
The owners of conspiracy. They and them.
Oh, excellent. So what we're doing is we're now blaming non-binary people who choose the pronouns they, them.
Oh my gosh.
It's
More irresponsible conspiracies brought to you by How Did You Get There? The Octothorpe government and they, them.
And here we are halfway through. How did you get there? And I'm asking myself, how did we get here? It's a show about thoughts, ideas, opinions, and beliefs, and discussions thereof, so that we can be critical of those thoughts, ideas, opinions, beliefs.
And maybe sometimes, but hardly ever, the people that hold them.
Sometimes we just can't resist ourselves. And just a reminder, these are our words, not Jess or any of Jess's associates or affiliates. I mean, except for us, because I guess we're
associates, yeah.
But it's just us. We're not putting words in anybody else's
Don't get
mouth.
angry at the yoga show. Don't get angry at the karaoke guy. Just don't. It's not their fault that we're here. It's our fault.
I blame your mom for that.
Yeah, it's your mom.
All right. We're brothers, so that works.
It's funny to us. Anyway. So this leapt off the pages at me, this whole incident. Believe it or not, from Twitter. I opened up Twitter and said, recommended for you. and clearly it was recommended for me because here I am talking about it. Did I respond to it on the tweets? No. Did I agree with the people that said, where are the RCMP and why isn't she arrested? Yes. Because at the very least, that is the incite of violence. Like, at the very least.
But all she wants to do is building Canada's national economic corridor across the country.
Was the economic corridor
I don't know, to the center of the earth.
in little globules or pustules across the north.
It's a corridor inside a
but
nanotube whip to the moon. I don't know.
But being that she clearly stated that ducks are the people providing the vaccines to people under 12, and that it is now duck season in the Great White North, I believe again that she's inciting violence.
Oh yeah, I think so.
I got that. That's part of my concern with this situation is the lack of response from the, crime prevention specialists, rather than in fact law enforcing. They should be crime preventing. Just a thought. I mean, that's why we lock our doors, is to prevent the crime, not to enforce someone breaking in. I locked my door after they broke in? No.
It's like shutting the barn door after the horse is out.
Correct. So,
But, I mean, ideally, we don't have to lock the doors because people don't go into places where they're not supposed to be.
there you go.
Right? That would be a great place to start. But recognizing that not everybody has the same
Brain
opinions,
chemistry, even.
brain chemistry.
There are chemically deficient brains that they can't empathize.
Yeah, and it's the empathy thing. So, well, here, let me put up a little bit of discouragement to keep the random passerby who is curious from just nosing around in my stuff. And honestly, if you want to just come around and take a look in my house, I'm actually not super cool about it, but I'm not gonna be really pissed off. Somebody broke into my house and stole all my furniture and replaced with exact duplicates.
Yeah.
Which fine, do that, whatever. Look around. Please don't take my stuff. I took a lot of time putting it in those places, and I'm gonna miss it.
My accumulation of the stuff I've accumulated is like almost on purpose.
Yeah, if you need my stuff, maybe ask.
Yeah. That's a good way.
If
to
you
go.
just want my stuff, maybe ask. I might even give it to you.
I'm going to call back
Don't just take it.
a little earlier in the show. Do we then stick up for her freedom of expression? Or do we then consider it, yelling crowd in a fiery theater? Like this is rubber meets the road right now.
Yep. So you know what? I think if I want to stand up on a public street corner on a soapbox and say, I am the rightful ruler of Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Who's with me?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's deal, man. This is what she's done.
This is what she's done.
Do we throw a big blanket around you so others can't see you being this ridiculous? Yeah, standing on your soapbox? Yeah. I am the ruler of this country that I'm claiming exists within an already extant nation.
Yep. Well, and it happens around the world all the time, a lot.
That's civil war is basically what that's called.
Yep. Yeah. That's sort of like a.
I mean, this is an extra civil war. We haven't shot specifically directly lined up our shooters.
So I think the strongest analogy I can come up with in the spur of the moment is, suppose that you're a bunch of European white people, and you show up and say, "We're in charge of all of this land." What about if you're already in charge of a chunk of land here already?
Yeah. I mean,
right? How is like? I mean, there's obviously ways, but I mean, what important ways are there that is different? That white people came and said, all of this is our land and we're in charge, and from herself saying,
I will point to
all
the
of this is
treaty
my
process.
land. But
And you want to think that it's just because white guys were tricking Native people, but no, there was probably also at the other end greedy Native people that are like, I'll take that big box of whatever's, right? So that option is not coming to us from this other group. They're not even offering.
Well, they're just saying that you don't have the right to rule this land. I do.
True.
And it.
I mean, we have gone out of our way to So reconciliation does matter because then
Yup.
because then we are creating a friendship, technically recreating a friendship, but I don't care. I want to just create the friendship so that we're all participants in reducing harm and improving well-being for all people that we can affect.
Yes, please.
Mm-hmm.
One of those reducing harm things is making sure your population is
Fed
fed and
educated.
healthy.
Mhm.
Maybe help
Granted the same land status as anybody else,
Yeah,
so they could like own homes. If
for
they
yay
wanted.
and for boo,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, you can't.
It's very hard to
Topic for a different day, but
create the friendships if there's still separate statuses among the participants of the friendship.
yep. And
Friends should be equals. Or be able to help the other out with the other's inequality.
Yeah. He's teamwork.
Mm-hmm.
He's teamwork.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I mean, I'd love to hang out with 5 of me, but I'd get sick of me right away.
right?
So it's
I
nice
just
that-
keep interrupting myself.
It's nice that I have friends that aren't me.
I find myself very interesting, but I can only talk to myself for so long. Most interesting man in the world.
I wrote
right.
myself a love sonnet. Yeah.
So let's suppose that I were to be king.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I claim that I am king. I am king of Canada. Thank you very much. My first order of business is to reappoint the current prime minister and reappoint the current governor general, and affirm that the elected government is actually who they say they are, and they are in control nominally. And I will be the king, and we can just do the thing like we're doing right now. But I'm the king. That's the way I would approach being king of Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a pretty good place to start. If I want to do something else, then I need to work with the people of Canada, all of them, to get to the point where we all agree that this is a good place to be.
Or at least by and large, the majority.
Consensus is never going to happen because there are too many different opinions.
Mm-hmm.
And consensus means like everybody.
Yeah.
It used to mean everybody, but now it doesn't. Mm-mm. Now we have this notion
Now
of
it means like 98%
general
or more.
consensus, which is like mostly everybody.
When I hear consensus, I assume 98% or more. I do understand what it actually means, but
Yeah.
I'm willing to give away a couple percentage points where like
When the people are together.
the consensus among scientists is the Earth is round.
Oblate spheroid.
Yes, but
Yeah.
I mean sort of bulgy at the bottom, right?
Like me.
Well, more around your ass than your belly, but yeah, a little below the belt line is where it starts swelling.
Yep.
But it's not that every single scientist, but the consensus in the modern term among scientists is that, right?
Right. So
So that's where I'm willing to give away a couple percentage points.
sure. And if I as king of Canada say, "Hey, let's do these things. Who's with me?" And everybody says, "Not me." I go, "Well, maybe we don't do those things." And if I say, "Hey, I think we should do these things. Who's with me?" And most of the people say, "I'm with you on that," then we should probably do those things. And if I'm really good at my job as king,
Mm-hmm.
I will convince people to do things the way I want them done.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I won't round them up and shoot them if they don't, because that seems like a terrible idea.
I want my government to actually be more parental than that. Like I want it to make the hard choices. Like I'm the child in this situation. So my government might make a choice that I don't like, but it might be good for me in the long run. So for example, I probably didn't like as an infant going to the health unit and getting vaccinated. I probably cried about it. I probably thought it was horrible. I never wanted to do it again. But as it turns out, it was a good thing for me, right? So, but if we asked every infant's opinion, hey, would you like to go get poked with a needle? It'll help you live longer. They'll be like, no, I don't want to get poked with a needle. Oh, well, then if that's the consensus, no, we're not poking people with needles now. So this is where, right?
You should send those 1-year-olds to do their own research.
That's what I'm saying. That's basically what's going on. That's why I thought it was a plum example. But once we start asking the babies, do you want your vaccine? And they're like, no, I do, Emma. Then at one point, they will be the majority of the unvaccinated people that say, no, I don't want one. And then we should listen to the majority in that instance. That's my flaw with democracy system. Because yes, it's nice to have the approval of the people, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're doing what's right for the people.
Right, but so
By and large, though, if you're making choices that in either case would be good for your people, but not specifically detrimental if they vote against it, then give them the choice. Hey, do you want gray, light gray, or dark gray? And they're like, light gray sucks. Great. Like, move on, right? Yeah.
yeah. Well, and again, if I were to be king, I would definitely go ahead and be the benevolent monarch type. That was like, look, I'm just doing this for all y'all. I mean, I don't know what's in it for me.
Prestige. I want my name down in history as the most givingest king ever.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I would
right.
definitely be starting out at a disadvantage because
Never kinged before?
I've never kinged before, and nobody in my family has ever kinged before, and I'm not actually claiming to own the land, just to be in charge of it.
That makes it very hard, I think. But I'm not entirely sure, but I believe king implies ownership.
Oh, it sure did.
I wonder then if that metaphor carries forward, if someone actually feels that level of ownership by deeming themselves royalty.
Yeah, and that's the most concerning thing for me is, I didn't vote for you. You don't vote for king.
Syndicalist communes. Yeah. We don't have a lord. We take turns. Never mind.
Oh, queen, eh? How'd you get that?
How did you know he was queen? She didn't have shit all over her.
The monster, the Ogopogo of the lake. Its arm clad in the shimmeringest of samite, held aloft Excalibur, signifying by divine right that I should be Queen Amidala.
Yes, yes. With my mighty Vax needle, I will be king.
Oh, some moistened bint hanging about in pawns distributing swords.
Look, if I told everyone I was ruler, and some moistened bink lobbed the sword at me, they'd put me away.
Quiet.
Oh, see this?
Come see the violence inherent in the
Oh,
system.
there you are, bringing class into everything. Well, that's what it's all about. Do some digs. That stuff's awesome. Live for it.
Yeah, so I really want to say that it's not a terrible thing that one would stand up and say, I think we're not doing things right. I think I have the right way.
Yes.
That is the strongest thing I can say in defense of the
If I were to
self-styled Queen of the Kingdom of Canada.
If I were to do my best to steelman her position,
which is what we're always trying to do because we're trying to figure out how you get there.
She has assessed what she believes is a problem, and unlike a lot of people, has presented a solution to what she has found as the problem.
Yeah.
So that's as good as I'm willing to go. Because I don't think I can speak much more. Like, none of those solutions to me are amenable. But at least she's given it thought. She's not just bitching. Right? The people that just bitch, the ones that say all those things but present zero solution, are nominally worse, but not as frightening.
She does want to prioritize and promote Canada's unique destinations in each province and territory.
Yes. She also wants to pull us out of the World Health Organization, the United Nations.
Who?
Yep.
I always say that when people say the WHO. Who?
Notice I almost schooled enough that I didn't even flinch that time.
Oh, defund the Canada Broadcasting Corporation.
Oh yes, definitely.
I'm not super keen on that. Like
I like having a national broadcasting service, like in times of emergency.
It's really good. It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm super keen on maybe let's get out of television. Television is real expensive.
Or we just need to actually put proper marketing effort into the internationalization of our television offerings. We should market it like a business if we're going to be in the business.
Yeah.
You don't watch sports though.
Right. So some people who watch the sports really hate the CBC's stranglehold on some sports.
They don't have one.
Well, they did in some economic regions, but Yeah.
That's because Canada was so big, the only channel you could get was the CBC.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at least they were bringing what they felt Canadians wanted, the hockey.
Hockey and the Beachcombers.
Yeah. And the football. That was on right now.
Oh, the football's on right now.
Hmm.
Are we having Lord Grey's Cup yet?
No, that's a week, a fortnight yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
excellent. So we'll be
streaming.
we'll be streaming and competing for viewers.
Mm-hmm. Mm. I would suspect I might be one of the few viewers I have that would also tune into the sport. Not that they're against the sport, but most of those are the players thereof. Like, they would rather play the baseball than watch the baseball. They would rather play.
I would rather play baseball than watch baseball.
That's what I'm saying.
I would rather play baseball than watch paint dry.
I have the same problem with theater.
I like watching theater.
I see, but I'd way rather play than watch. So I have the
Yeah.
same sort of I'm not playing feeling when I'm watching.
I'd rather play King
Than
than watch one.
Yes, yes. If my name was Catherine, that's funny. I'd rather play Kate than be one.
Ha ha ha!
Sorry. That's another episode all on its own.
Yep.
So this person has deemed herself queen because she found a problem and has presented solutions that pretty much incite violence, are criminal and or threatening criminal activity, which is its own separate crime. I didn't look up the criminal code on rebellion. It's been a long time since I've actually sat down and read the whole book.
It's been a few years since
I'm a Martin's guy, and I just didn't keep up my subscription because I just don't go to court often enough. Right, because I used to be able to do 263 citizens arrest, blah blah blah.
Oh yeah, well that
was
might
one of
be useful for her, because if you sign that PDF that she put out with "We the People," you're basically self-deputizing to round people up and shoot them.
Awesome, that makes them easier to find. Maybe that's so. Again, prevention, crime prevention. Don't let them all sign up and engage in the activity and arrest them for it. This is part of the concern and part of the discussion for today is this. I mean, rebellion doesn't cover your insurance law. You're not covered by insurance if your home is damaged in a rebellion, just so you know.
Which seems super...
Like, why do I have insurance?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, yeah.
I'm going to need you to pay this just in case. Forever. Well, I don't think anything's going to happen, but it might. So I need you to pay forever. Did it put rebellion and treason in the same section?
Not really. It just sort of, when I looked up rebellion, it threw me to treason. Yeah. Uses force or violence for the purpose of overthrowing the government.
So, but I can't see, this is where the...
This is not that.
Right, it's contingent near there.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, because they're exerting authority as though they are the government, which is a willful act against the existing government. Right? So it's
But not
like
overthrowing
so
them.
close.
Just is it overthrowing the government?
I know, if I elect a different party, it doesn't, see, because it doesn't,
But it's not by force or violence.
right? Force.
What if I just ignore them?
Hmm.
Like if, right, so imagine this. There's a teacher in a classroom, and one student says, I'm going to teach. And all the students just agree to ignore the rightful teacher and follow the one student who says they're the teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Have they overthrown the classroom? They didn't do it by violence, they didn't do it by force.
True. They've commandeered the class.
They've commandeered it. There's nothing treasonous about commandeering the country.
No, that's a separate thing. That's what I was trying to figure out.
But I cannot find anything about commandeering the
usurping of power.
There's probably maybe there's something about that.
I know. This was college for me when I read that book. And then, like, maybe 10 years after that again, just for something to do. But
Yeah.
it's like the Bible. It's like a really painful... No, the Bible's more entertaining even. Like, at least it's got some sex and violence and stuff in it. And the criminal code just, like, tells you when that's wrong, in what instances and circumstances. Typically, hardly ever, by the way. Our criminal code's pretty liberal in terms of its letting you just do what you want to do in your own bedroom.
Sort of. A little bit.
It's pretty good about it.
Yeah. Yeah, you can actually trade money for sex.
Yes.
That is perfectly legal in Canada.
Yep.
You can't spend the money.
No. Yeah, no.
And you can't ask for the money.
No. No, that's solicitation.
Yeah, and the other one is living off the avails.
Yes, absolutely.
And those two things are illegal in the criminal code.
Yes.
And they are actually less illegal. Well, actually, they've changed the criminal code so you can actually bet on a single sporting event.
Yes.
But you didn't used to be able to. It used to be a worse offense to bet on a single sporting event than
Have a hooker.
have a hooker. Well, solicit or live off the avails.
But yeah.
Right. So,
Yeah, it just keeps taking me to treason. Yeah, darn it. So that's sort of the like right on the edge, and I think maybe they might know that.
possibly.
I mean, clearly no, because they're still inciting violence. That's like its own clear as a bell situation. Please don't just believe me. Just look it up. It does. You can even be a toilet looker upper in this situation. There is a plethora of information about this out there. Nobody's come up with a different take.
Yeah, no. So, if you are concerned a little bit about upsetting the algorithms and suddenly you're getting flooded with a bunch of other stuff, and this is not a sponsored thing. This is just me being smart about my data.
You're not going to name brand. You're just going to say VPN that junk.
Yeah, I'm going to say use the private browsing on your device. So if you're using Safari or Chrome or Edge or any of the other browsers, there's a private tab function which prevents the storing and sharing of cookies, which makes it harder for other machines to track you. I recommend using a private search engine. I only know of one for sure, but there's probably a bunch out there. I'm gonna name drop DuckDuckGo.
Yeah, that's a good.
Because they also don't track you, they claim, and I have no reason to doubt that. I've gone looking for ways that they have broken their claim. Haven't found any of those, so I'm taking it at their word. Maybe get a VPN. That's like super overkill, but super can be useful. But that way you won't pollute the pool of things that you're just so comfortable seeing on your social media.
Yeah. I, on the other hand, hope people are checking my algorithm because I search the weirdest crap, and I do it on purpose.
Yep.
It does give me some crazy ads. So, in our conclusion today, it is important that you investigate these people. It is important that you maybe confront them in a safe and de-escalating type manner if you encounter them.
Use your words.
Use your words. Don't open carry. It incites violence. That's about it.
Be informed. Make good choices. And think critically.
Yes. Oh, please. Ask them how they know.
Yeah. How do you know? How did you get there?
Yeah.
Right.
There it is.
If you understand how people get to their point of view, it's easier to have the conversations.
And I tried to sort that out for this poor woman. I cannot figure out the depths to which she had to go to get there. I understand some of the provocations that would make someone look at those ideas. I can't see myself declaring myself supreme ruler of a non-existent nation.
Yay! And that brings us to the top of the hour. Thank you for tuning in this week on How Did You Get There? We'll be back in a fortnight.
Stephen.
Jeff.
The Grahams. Check us out Facebook or HTYTG.